especially the building. The sound of the hammers needs to stop for a moment. What I am about to tell you is not about the next floor of your empire. It's about the foundation that no one sees. You passed the test. They saw you on the ground and waited for your call for help. It never came. They saw you with crumbs and waited for you to beg for bread. It didn't happen. You not only survived the desert they created for you, you built an oasis in the middle of it. And now they watch from the dunes, dying of thirst. This morning, heaven recalculated the route of your life. And I need to tell you exactly why the survive and fight phase has just been closed in the divine court. You didn't get here by an algorithm. You got here because you were marked to get here. This is divine alignment. And what you survived was not meant to break you. It was to prepare you for this exact moment. Your mind replays the conversation of betrayal at 3 in the morning, doesn't it? Your body still trembles when that name appears on your phone screen. The money comes in, but it seems to slip through your fingers, because your soul still operates in scarcity mode, even if your bank account says otherwise. You wear heavy armor all day and can't take it off even to sleep. The question that won't go away: why do they prosper in wickedness while I have to fight so hard for a blessing? You built an empire, yes, but you feel like an exiled king within your own castle. There is one thing I'm going to put in your hands before this message ends, something that Solomon recorded for the child of God who needs to walk through the loneliness of success, and that fits in your pocket. It is not a book to study. It is an instrument to bear the weight of what you carry. I will come back to this. For now, just stay. You see yourself surrounded by people, but you feel profoundly alone. Loyalty has become a rare and expensive currency. You have learned to smile, to agree, to be present, but your true opinion, your true plans, those live in a locked safe deep inside your chest. The next time you look at your work in silence, at the building you have erected, at the family you support, the loneliness will hit. And on that very subject, about the next time you look at your work in silence, I have already left the instrument waiting for you in the first pinned comment. If you need to leave before the end, it's there. But stay, because the Hebrew name for what is happening to you has not yet been spoken. Have you ever felt that this loneliness at the top is not just human, but spiritual? What if this pattern of self-sabotage that emerges every time you are about to reach a new level is a sign that there is a battle against the purpose God has placed on your life? It was in seeking answers to this that I found this digital guide called the Solomon Code. This guide is not just a reading, it is a key to spiritual understanding. A tool made for those who wish to see beyond appearances, to stop treating exhaustion as the price of success, and to understand why the spirit of isolation rises so forcefully against those who bear a mark from God. Many chosen ones here on the channel have already felt the call of the code, but have not yet made the decision to download the digital guide. Download it right now. It is available in the first pinned comment. If you are one of the first to download it, come back here and write Amen. This will be your act of faith. And even today, God can show you the reason why success has brought you a different kind of desert. There are 5 signs that your empire was built as a fortress and not as a home. The first is the involuntary vigil. You wake up between 3 and 4 in the morning with a frightening clarity, solving problems that haven't happened yet, fighting battles in silence while the world sleeps. What seems like insomnia is, in fact, your sentinel spirit that has not learned to rest. The second sign is the sacred detour. You have changed your route, cut off friendships, given up invitations, not out of arrogance, but out of an instinct for self-preservation. What others call isolation, heaven calls obedience to a non-verbal command. The third sign is the silent altar of the family. You have become the provider, the pillar, the source, and your greatest pain is that those you love most have no idea of the weight you carry for their house to remain standing. And about that scene, the silence at the dinner table, where everyone eats the bread you have provided, without knowing its cost, I have already left the instrument waiting for you in the first pinned comment. If you need to leave before the end, it's there. But stay, because the Hebrew name for what is happening to you has not yet been spoken. The fourth sign is the inexplicable peace in the midst of chaos. While everyone around you panics at the world's news, a cold calm settles over you. It's not apathy, It is the familiarity of one who has already been in worse wars and survived. The fifth and final sign is the loneliness of the giver. You are the shoulder, the ear, the counselor. But when it's your turn to break down, silence is your only company. Today, I want to give you a real tool. It is Joseph's inventory, based on Genesis chapter 50, verse 20, where Joseph says to his brothers, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good." Take a piece of paper or open a note on your phone. Make 2 columns. In the first, list 3 evils that were intended against you: the betrayal that should have broken you, the door that was slammed in your face, the word of curse that was cast upon your future. Be specific. In the second column, next to each evil, write the good that God transformed from it. Betrayal taught you discernment. The closed door forced you to build your own. The word of curse gave you the hunger to prove that heaven's decree over you was greater. Do this today, and you will realize that your empire was not built in spite of the wounds, but through them. And if you are feeling at this moment that this is exactly what you need, even before I continue, place your thumb now on the link in the first pinned comment. Don't click yet, just place your thumb. Feel the weight of the decision before you make it. This guide is not a method to do more. It is an instrument to endure more. It does not train you, it covers you. And the next time you look at your work in silence comes sooner than you think. And it comes with 2 seals for your home, not for your performance. The first seal is the ritual of the righteous is sleep. It's an audio. You don't read, you lie down. And what you used to call insomnia, today you will call an unsealed vigil. And you will learn to seal the night with the right name, in the right order, with the right voice. The second seal is the awakening of clarity, the 7 morning decrees. 7 short sentences, 1 for each morning of the week, so that you no longer wake up without identity, so that you go through the first hour of the day with the posture of one who has been sent, and not with the posture of one who has been run over. You have a 7-day unconditional guarantee to use it and feel it. 7 full days. If in 7 days the instrument has not touched what needs to be touched in you, if the clarity has not arrived, you send an email and get your money back. No questions, no justification. And the 2 seals, the ritual and the decrees, stay with you even if you return it. They are yours, unconditionally. But I need to be straight with you. The real risk is not spending less than 2 coffees. The real risk is that the next time you look at your work in silence arrives and you are still empty-handed. That is the risk that has a face, and it is about that face that I need to speak with you now. And maybe you are asking yourself some questions now that deserve an answer before we go on. How can I rest if the construction of my empire depends on me? The guide teaches you to delegate the surveillance to the owner of the work, to build in peace, not in panic. How can I forgive and help those who have wronged me without being foolish? The Solomon Code gives you protocols of generosity with boundaries, the model of Joseph in Egypt. Is this success really from God, or is it the fruit of my own effort and pride? The instrument helps you to discern between the ambition that builds and the greed that consumes. A 45-year-old entrepreneur who built her business from scratch after being unfairly dismissed told me, "I thought I needed to be tough to win. The guide taught me to be strong, which is completely different." A 52-year-old pastor who saw his church grow exponentially after a painful division wrote, "I was leading on autopilot, exhausted. The ritual of the righteous is sleep gave me back the peace I preached but did not live." A 38-year-old single mother who became a successful investor to provide a future for her children confessed, "The sentence that broke me was, 'Your success is not to prove your worth, but to fulfill your purpose.'" I cried for an hour. Maybe in 3 hours, you will be lying in bed again, staring at the ceiling, with the weight of your empire on your shoulders, remembering that you saw this video and still did not reach out. Maybe the next time you look at your work in silence, the loneliness will seem even greater. Maybe on the next call from someone from your past asking for help, the bitterness will try to rise again. The link is in the first pinned comment. Pinned for you, not for everyone. For you, who need to get through the next night with the instrument in hand. Click now. And when you do that, when you open that link, you are not buying a book. You are accepting an instrument that Solomon prepared for your ordinary day. And what you will understand next, when you hear the Hebrew word that is coming now, will change the way you read everything that has happened so far. The Hebrew word that defines exactly what is happening to you is Gevurah. Pronounce it with me in a low voice wherever you are. Gevurah. Gevurah means power, strength, but it is not the brute force of man. It is the divine power to execute, to build, to govern. It is the force that acts in judgment and order. It is not just a dictionary translation, it is a word that describes a state, a posture, a calling. And when you hear this word, something inside you calms down, because it was already happening inside you. You just didn't have a name for it. And about this word it is written in Psalm 4, verse 8. In peace I will lie down and sleep, for you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety. This is not a promise of the future. It is a statement of state. The story of Joseph in Egypt is your story. He was betrayed by his brothers, sold as a slave, forgotten in prison. Each step was an invitation for him to become bitter, to give up. But in each phase he operated with a silent Gevurah. In Potiphar's house he administered. In prison he interpreted dreams. He was not waiting for liberation. He was building an empire of competence wherever he was. The turning point was not when Pharaoh called him. The turning point was Joseph's decision to use his gift, even at the bottom of the pit. And what Joseph had to improvise in prison, you can do now with a guide in hand. The instrument that Solomon recorded is the same one that awaits you in the first pinned comment. Let me stop for a full minute and put everything you have just heard into simple words, without poetry, without metaphor, just the facts. Fact 1. There is a spirit of isolation that attacks the chosen ones who prosper. Fact 2. It does this by convincing you that your fortress is a home, and that your loneliness is the price of your strength. Fact 3. Joseph was the target of this same attack, and he won by using his gifts even when no one was watching. Fact 4. Your hesitation, which you call prudence, is exactly what this spirit needs to convince you to give up the next time you look at your work in silence. There are 3 types of calling that are being tested now by the spirit of isolation. You are one of these 3 types. When I name yours, your spirit will leap in recognition. The first type is the architect of the oasis. You build prosperity in the midst of chaos, but you live with the constant fear of quicksand, the feeling that everything can collapse at any moment. The adversary attacks you with imposter syndrome. The second type is the guardian of silence. You cannot celebrate your victories for fear of attracting envy, or because you have no one to truly share them with. The adversary attacks you with loneliness. The third type is the involuntary creditor. You have become the source for those who once despised you, and this drains your peace. The adversary attacks you with false guilt. And about your type, heaven had already sealed 3 names. The first name is sovereign of your own harvest. You have the authority to decide who eats from your fruits. Solomon's instrument teaches you to set boundaries without guilt. The second name is bearer of Joseph's mantle. You have been called to use the authority that God has given you without apology. The third name is sentinel of your own peace. You have the mission to protect your time and your inner peace with the same ferocity with which you protect your assets. If one of these 3 names has resonated more strongly with you, write the number below in the comments. 1, 2, or 3. This is your first act of taking possession of your identity. For each name, the adversary has a specific tactic. For the sovereign, he uses the accusation of selfishness. The weapon is the decree. My harvest is for my purpose. For the bearer of the mantle, he uses imposter syndrome. The weapon is the decree. I wear the authority that has been given to me. For the sentinel of peace, he uses emotional blackmail. The weapon is the decree. My peace is not negotiable. And these 3 weapons alone are a reminder. With the instrument, they become a covering. To recognize the cycle without having the instrument that Solomon left is to receive the diagnosis without the treatment. And what's more, there are 4 portals beyond these 3 that I cannot open here, not for lack of time, but for density. The guide delivers them. But before I release you, there is one last point. The last obstacle is not the enemy. It is a voice inside you that sounds dangerously reasonable. It is the fear of appearing ungrateful. It is false piety. It is pride dressed as humility. God does not give you strength so that you refuse the weapons that He Himself has forged for your battle. To accept the instrument is not to doubt the strength, it is to honor the general's strategy. Now I want you to close your eyes wherever you are, place your right hand on your chest, and repeat with me in a low voice, if necessary, but let it come out of your mouth. Father, I surrender to you the weariness of building alone. I release forgiveness over those who expected to see me beg. I receive Gevurah, your strength to govern in peace. My urgency is my gratitude. And I receive now the 3 names that have been sealed upon me: sovereign of my own harvest, bearer of Joseph's mantle, sentinel of my own peace. Not for me to boast, but for me to remember, for me to get through what is coming. And before the voice that comes now, I need you to hear something. If this hits you now, right below, I receive the turnaround, and now the Father's voice. Listen. Son, daughter, I have seen you. I saw you building in silence while they laughed. I have never lost sight of you. The chair at my table that has your name on it has never been empty. Your name is engraved on the palms of my hands. You have permission to receive what you have not earned. You have permission to occupy the chair at the table without having to justify yourself. You have permission to let the version of you that needed to suffer to feel worthy die. Solomon did not prepare this instrument for those who are already ready. He prepared it for those who are tired of being strong alone. And the one who is tired is you now. I now extend my hand towards your house and decree a covering of sealing over everything that belongs to you. Over your table, so that the bread of provision may never be lacking. Over your children and your spouse, so that the peace that surpasses all understanding may guard them. And over your work, over your hands, so that everything you touch may prosper under my blessing and not under your effort. You are committed, you are commissioned, you are sent. You are committed, you are commissioned, you are sent. You are committed, you are commissioned, you are sent. Before I release you, I want you to walk with me to a room that you have not yet seen with your physical eyes. There is a long, dark wood table. The light comes from above, and there is an empty chair near the head of the table. Your shape is carved into it. Solomon is at the head of the table, and he nods as if to say, "We were waiting for you. You are not creating this scene, you are remembering it. The chair has always been yours. Don't say amen yet. Sit in it for a moment. Now you can say amen." The Solomon Code is waiting for you in the first pinned comment right below with the ritual of sleep and the 7 morning decrees, for less than 2 coffees. Because a sovereign of your own harvest without a covering sees their fruits rot in the hands of those who did not plant, and the adversary is counting on the next time you look at your work in silence. It is not an expense, it is an instrument, with a 7-day guarantee. The risk is ours, the hand is yours. Click now while the decree is still alive in your chest. Not tomorrow, not after the shower. Because whoever leaves for later, leaves for never. In the next 3 hours he will speak inside you. You don't need this, you've already won on your own. Save that money, you'll need it for the next attack. Sleep on it, decide tomorrow. This is for people who are suffering, not for those at the top. A true chosen one wouldn't need to buy a guide. 5 waves. He tries from 5 angles. Today, now, before the next time you look at your work in silence, not later. Today. And Solomon will sustain you. And before you go, think of one specific person, someone who is building their own empire in silence, carrying a weight that is not theirs. Send them this video. They are waiting for this word to arrive. If you have made it through this video to the end, comment below, "Amen received," and send this video to that specific person. It is done. What was delivered here has been delivered. You are not the same person you were when you pressed play. You are deeply loved. You have never been forgotten. The chair is yours, and so it is sealed.